A prisoner serving a life sentence lives under a highly controlled and repetitive daily routine. Every day usually begins very early in the morning, often before sunrise, when guards conduct roll calls and security checks. Unlike people outside prison who can decide how to spend their day, prisoners must follow strict schedules designed by prison authorities. Every activity, waking up, eating meals, working, exercising, and even sleeping, happens at a fixed time. The prisoners' movements are constantly monitored. They may spend hours inside a small cell with limited space and little privacy. Even simple activities such as walking in the hallway or going to the cafeteria require permission and supervision. This constant control can make prisoners feel trapped not only physically, but mentally as well. Meals are usually basic and repetitive, and prisoners often stand in long lines before returning to their cells. Some prisoners are assigned jobs such as cleaning, cooking, laundry work, or maintenance duties. Others attend educational or rehabilitation programs during certain hours of the day. Although these activities help pass time, the routine rarely changes, making life feel predictable and monotonous. The same cycle repeats day after day, month after month, and year after year. Over time, this endless repetition can affect a prisoner's mental health and sense of identity. Many prisoners begin to feel disconnected from the outside world because their lives no longer include freedom, variety, or personal choice. The strict routine becomes a constant reminder that they are living a life confined within prison walls. One of the most painful realities for a prisoner serving a life sentence is the complete loss of freedom. Freedom is something most people enjoy every day without even thinking about it. The freedom to walk outside, visit family, choose what to eat, travel, work, or simply make personal decisions. For a life prisoner, these ordinary experiences become distant memories. Inside prison walls, every part of life is controlled by rules and restrictions. Prisoners cannot decide when to leave a room, where to go, or how to spend their time. Locked doors, security cameras, and prison guards constantly remind them that their lives are no longer their own. Even small privileges, such as extra recreation time or phone calls, depend on prison behavior and regulations. The emotional impact of losing freedom can be overwhelming. Many prisoners struggle with feelings of helplessness because they no longer control their future. They watch the world continue moving forward while they remain trapped in the same environment year after year. Technology changes, cities develop, and families grow older, but prisoners experience life from behind bars, disconnected from normal society. Another difficult part of losing freedom is missing important moments in life. Prisoners often cannot attend family weddings, funerals, birthdays, or celebrations. Parents miss watching their children grow up, and children grow up without the presence of a parent. Over time, relationships may weaken because distance and separation become harder to bear. The lack of personal space and privacy also affects prisoners deeply. A life prisoner may share a small cell, follow strict prison commands, and live under constant observation. This environment can create stress, frustration, and emotional exhaustion. Simple things that free people enjoy, walking in a park, eating a homemade meal, or sitting peacefully with loved ones, become impossible luxuries. For many prisoners, the loss of freedom is more painful than the physical prison itself. It serves as a daily reminder of the consequences of their actions and the permanent separation from the outside world. Work and education play an important role in the daily life of many prisoners serving life sentences. Since prisoners spend years and sometimes decades inside prison, these activities help bring structure and purpose to their lives. Without work, study, or productive tasks, prison life can become mentally exhausting and emotionally empty. Many prisoners are assigned different types of jobs within the prison. Some work in kitchens preparing meals, while others clean hallways, maintain prison grounds, repair furniture, or handle laundry duties. In certain prisons, inmates also work in workshops where they learn skills such as carpentry, sewing, painting, or manufacturing. These jobs may not offer freedom, but they provide prisoners with a sense of responsibility and a way to stay active throughout the day. For life prisoners especially, work can become more than just a task. It helps reduce boredom and gives them something meaningful to focus on. A busy schedule can prevent prisoners from becoming completely isolated in their thoughts. Some prisoners even develop pride in their work because it allows them to feel useful despite their difficult circumstances. Education is another important opportunity inside prison. Many prisoners use their time to improve their reading, writing, and communication skills. Some complete basic schooling they never finished earlier in life, while others study advanced subjects through prison education programs. Libraries, classes, and training sessions provide prisoners with a chance to learn and grow mentally. For some prisoners, education becomes a path toward personal change. They begin to understand their mistakes, develop discipline, and build a different outlook on life. Learning can also help prisoners prepare for possible parole opportunities or simply make them feel mentally stronger while living behind bars. Reading books is one of the most common ways prisoners educate themselves. Books provide knowledge, escape, and emotional comfort. Through reading, prisoners can explore history, science, religion, literature, and stories from the outside world. Many prisoners say that books help them feel less trapped because their minds can travel beyond prison walls. Certain prisoners also participate in counseling programs, religious studies, or vocational training courses. These programs are designed to teach positive behavior, emotional control, and life skills. Some prisoners discover talents they never knew they had, such as writing poetry, drawing, or public speaking. Even though prison work and education cannot replace freedom, they help prisoners survive the emotional and psychological challenges of long-term imprisonment. They create small opportunities for growth, discipline, and hope inside an environment that is often harsh and restrictive. Loneliness and isolation are among the most difficult emotional challenges faced by prisoners serving life sentences. While prison walls physically separate inmates from society, the emotional distance from family, friends, and normal life can feel even more painful. A life prisoner often spends years watching relationships slowly fade away, creating deep feelings of sadness and abandonment. Inside prison, the environment is highly restricted and isolated from the outside world. Prisoners cannot freely meet loved ones, attend social gatherings, or enjoy everyday human connections. Communication is limited to short visits, monitored phone calls, or letters. For some prisoners, these moments become the most valuable part of their lives because they provide a rare connection to the outside world. Over time, many prisoners begin to lose contact with people they once cared about. Family members may move away, friendships may end, and loved ones may stop visiting due to distance, financial struggles, or emotional pain. Some prisoners experience the heartbreak of seeing parents grow old or children grow up without being part of their lives. Years can pass without meaningful contact, making prisoners feel forgotten and disconnected from society. Isolation inside prison can also affect mental health. Spending long hours in a small cell with little interaction can lead to depression, anxiety, stress, and hopelessness. Some prisoners become withdrawn and stop communicating with others altogether. The silence and repetition of prison life can make time feel endless, causing emotional exhaustion and loneliness to grow stronger. For prisoners placed in solitary confinement, the sense of isolation becomes even more severe. Solitary confinement may involve staying alone in a cell for most of the day with very limited human contact. Without regular conversation or social interaction, prisoners may struggle emotionally and psychologically. Many describe it as one of the most painful experiences inside prison because humans naturally need connection and companionship. The emotional pain of missing family moments is another heavy burden. Prisoners serving life sentences often miss birthdays, weddings, graduations, holidays, and funerals. They cannot comfort loved ones during difficult times or celebrate happy moments together. This separation creates guilt and sorrow, especially for prisoners who regret the choices that led them to prison. Even among other inmates, loneliness can still exist. Although prisoners may live around many people, trust can be difficult inside prison environments. Fear, conflict, and survival often prevent deep friendships from forming. Some prisoners hide their emotions to appear strong, which increases feelings of emotional isolation. To cope with loneliness, many prisoners turn to books, religion, writing, exercise, or creative activities such as drawing and music. Others spend time reflecting on memories from the past. Small acts of kindness, conversations with cellmates, or letters from family can provide emotional comfort and remind prisoners that they are still connected to humanity in some way. Prisoners serving life sentences often face intense mental and emotional struggles that continue for many years. Living in a confined environment with little freedom, limited privacy, and an uncertain future can place enormous pressure on the human mind. Unlike short-term prisoners who may count down the days until release, life prisoners often wake up knowing that they may spend the rest of their lives behind bars. This reality can create deep emotional pain and psychological stress. One of the most common struggles is depression. Many prisoners feel hopeless after realizing how much of their lives has been lost. They may think constantly about the mistakes they made, the people they hurt, and the opportunities they will never experience again. Feelings of guilt and regret can become overwhelming, especially during quiet moments when prisoners are left alone with their thoughts. Anxiety is also a major issue in prison life. Prison environments can be unpredictable and tense, causing prisoners to feel constantly alert or fearful. Arguments, violence, strict rules, and the pressure to survive inside prison can create emotional exhaustion. Some prisoners struggle to sleep properly because of stress, fear, or overthinking about the future. Another emotional challenge is the loss of personal identity. Outside prison, people define themselves through careers, family roles, hobbies, and social relationships. Inside prison, many of those identities disappear. Prisoners are often known only by their inmate number or criminal history. Over time, this can damage self-esteem and create feelings of worthlessness. Life prisoners also experience emotional pain from separation and missed opportunities. They may think about children growing older, parents becoming sick, or loved ones passing away while they remain unable to be present. These thoughts can create loneliness, sadness, and emotional frustration. Important life experiences that most people take for granted become impossible for prisoners to enjoy. The repetitive nature of prison life can also affect mental health. Living the same routine every day with little change can make time feel endless. Some prisoners lose motivation or become emotionally numb because every day feels exactly the same. Without positive activities or emotional support, hopelessness may grow stronger over time. Many prisoners try to hide their emotions because prison environments often encourage toughness and emotional control. Showing weakness can sometimes make prisoners feel vulnerable around others. As a result, many keep their pain inside, which can increase stress, anger, and emotional isolation. Some prisoners turn to unhealthy coping methods such as aggression, withdrawal, or conflict with others. However, others try to improve their mental state through positive activities. Reading, exercise, education, religious practice, counseling, and creative hobbies such as writing or art can help prisoners manage emotional struggles. These activities give prisoners a way to express themselves and maintain some sense of inner peace. Mental and emotional struggles often become one of the heaviest burdens of serving a life sentence because the battle is not only against prison walls, but also against hopelessness, regret, fear, and the constant challenge of surviving emotionally in a confined world. For many prisoners serving life sentences, prison becomes a place of deep reflection and personal change. Spending years behind bars gives prisoners a great deal of time to think about their past decisions, their actions, and the consequences those actions had on others. Unlike the fast-moving world outside prison, life inside moves slowly, often forcing prisoners to face memories and emotions they cannot escape. Many life prisoners spend long periods thinking about the crimes they committed and the pain caused to victims, families, and communities. Feelings of guilt and regret can become very powerful over time. Some prisoners replay past events repeatedly in their minds, wishing they had made different choices. This self-reflection can be emotionally painful, but for some, it becomes the beginning of personal growth. Prison life often changes the way people think about themselves and the world around them. A person who once acted with anger, violence, or poor judgment may slowly begin to understand the value of patience, discipline, and responsibility. Years of isolation and hardship can teach prisoners lessons that they never learned while living freely in society. Education plays an important role in this process of change. Many prisoners begin reading books, studying subjects, or attending classes that help them develop new perspectives on life. Through learning, some prisoners become more thoughtful, mature, and emotionally aware. They start to understand the importance of self-control, communication, and making wise decisions. Religion and spirituality also become important sources of reflection for many life prisoners. Some turn toward faith for comfort, forgiveness, and guidance. Religious practices such as prayer, meditation, or studying holy books help prisoners cope with emotional pain and give them hope during difficult times. For certain prisoners, spirituality provides a sense of purpose and encourages them to become better individuals despite their circumstances. Counseling and rehabilitation programs can also encourage personal growth. Through therapy sessions, group discussions, or anger management classes, prisoners may learn how to deal with emotions in healthier ways. They begin recognizing patterns of behavior that once led them toward crime or violence. Understanding these patterns can help prisoners develop greater emotional control and self-awareness. Reflection can also inspire prisoners to help others inside prison. Some become mentors for younger inmates, encouraging them to avoid violence or make positive choices. Others teach classes, participate in support groups, or share their experiences to prevent others from making similar mistakes. Helping others often gives prisoners a feeling of meaning and responsibility. Creative activities such as writing, painting, poetry, or music also allow prisoners to express emotions and reflect on their lives. Through creativity, many prisoners communicate feelings they struggle to express openly. Some write about regret, loneliness, hope, or dreams of redemption. These activities can help prisoners process emotions and better understand themselves. The process of reflection and change is not easy. It takes years of emotional struggle, honesty, and self-examination. Some prisoners refuse to change, while others slowly transform through learning, discipline, and reflection. For those who truly seek improvement, prison can become not only a place of punishment, but also a place where they attempt to rebuild their character and find meaning within a difficult and restricted life. Even in the harsh and restricted environment of prison, many life prisoners search for small sources of hope that help them continue living day after day. Hope may not completely remove the pain of imprisonment, but it gives prisoners emotional strength and a reason to keep moving forward despite the difficulties surrounding them. For many prisoners, hope begins with simple daily activities. Reading books is one of the most common ways prisoners escape mentally from prison life. Through books, they can travel to different places, learn new ideas, and experience stories far beyond prison walls. Reading not only reduces boredom but also helps prisoners feel connected to the outside world and keeps their minds active. Education also becomes a powerful source of hope. Some prisoners return to studying after many years and discover a new purpose in learning. Completing courses, earning certificates, or improving personal knowledge gives them a sense of achievement. These accomplishments may seem small to people outside prison, but inside prison they can provide motivation, confidence, and pride. Creative activities such as writing, drawing, painting, and music help many prisoners cope with emotional pain. Some prisoners write poetry or journals to express loneliness, regret, or dreams for the future. Others create artwork that reflects their emotions and experiences. Creativity allows prisoners to release feelings they may otherwise keep hidden inside. It also helps them feel human in an environment where individuality is often limited. Exercise and sports are another important source of hope and mental relief. Physical activity helps prisoners reduce stress, control anger, and improve emotional well-being. Many prisoners spend time walking, running, lifting weights, or playing sports during recreation periods. These activities provide temporary freedom from the pressures of prison life and help maintain physical and mental strength. Relationships with family members can also keep hope alive. Receiving a letter, phone call, or visit from loved ones reminds prisoners that they are not completely forgotten. Even small moments of connection can have a powerful emotional impact. For some prisoners, family becomes the main reason they continue trying to improve themselves and stay emotionally strong. Friendships inside prison may also provide support. Although trust can be difficult in prison environments, some prisoners build close bonds with others who understand their struggles. Talking with someone, sharing experiences, or simply having companionship can reduce feelings of isolation and loneliness. Religion and spirituality often give prisoners hope during their darkest moments. Many prisoners pray, attend religious services, or read spiritual texts to find comfort and guidance. Faith can help prisoners believe that personal change, forgiveness, and inner peace are still possible despite their past mistakes and current situation. Some prisoners also find hope by helping others. Teaching another inmate to read, offering advice, or participating in prison programs gives them a sense of purpose. Helping others can make prisoners feel useful and valued, even within a restricted environment. These small sources of hope may appear ordinary to people living freely outside prison, but for someone serving a life sentence, they become deeply meaningful. In a place filled with routine, loss, and emotional struggle, even the smallest moments of positivity can help prisoners continue surviving emotionally and mentally. The life of a prisoner serving a life sentence teaches an important lesson about the true value of freedom and personal responsibility. Many people outside prison often take freedom for granted because it is a normal part of everyday life. People can walk outside whenever they want, visit family and friends, travel to different places, choose careers, and make decisions independently. For prisoners, however, these simple freedoms become painful reminders of what has been lost. Inside prison, every action is controlled by strict rules and authority. Prisoners cannot choose where they go, what they do, or how they spend most of their time. Even the smallest decisions, such as when to eat, sleep, or leave a room, are controlled by prison schedules. Over time, prisoners begin to understand how valuable freedom truly is because they no longer possess it. Many life prisoners reflect deeply on the choices and actions that led them to prison. They realize that a single decision, moment of anger, act of violence, or criminal behavior can permanently change many lives, including their own. This understanding often creates strong feelings of regret because they recognize that freedom can be lost much faster than people expect. Responsibility becomes another major lesson learned through prison life. Some prisoners come to understand that actions always carry consequences. Decisions made without thinking can lead to suffering for victims, families, communities, and the offenders themselves. Through years of reflection, many prisoners realize the importance of self-control, discipline, honesty, and making wise choices. Prisoners also learn how deeply their imprisonment affects the people around them. Families often struggle emotionally, financially, and socially when a loved one is sent to prison. Children may grow up without parents, parents may experience heartbreak, and relationships may slowly break apart. This realization can create guilt and sadness because prisoners understand that their actions caused pain not only to themselves, but also to innocent people close to them. For some prisoners, the loss of freedom changes the way they see ordinary life. Simple experiences such as walking freely in nature, eating a meal with family, celebrating holidays, or watching a sunset become meaningful memories. Many prisoners begin appreciating small things that they once ignored while living outside prison walls. The value of responsibility is also reflected in how prisoners try to rebuild themselves mentally and emotionally. Some attempt to become more patient, respectful, and thoughtful individuals. They begin understanding that responsible behavior is necessary for peaceful living and healthy relationships. Through education, counseling, religion, or personal reflection, some prisoners work toward becoming better people despite their difficult circumstances. The experiences of life prisoners can also serve as lessons for society. Their stories remind people of the dangers of crime, violence, poor decision-making, and uncontrolled anger. They show how one wrong path can lead to years of suffering and lost opportunities. At the same time, they demonstrate the importance of rehabilitation, understanding human behavior, and encouraging positive choices before lives are destroyed. Freedom is one of the greatest gifts a person can have, yet many people only recognize its value after it is taken away. For prisoners serving life sentences, the absence of freedom becomes a constant lesson about responsibility, consequences, and the importance of making choices that protect both themselves and others.